Feel like Patrick, you may not, if you have time, great, and if you're doing work, great, but you may want to go and do other things. I'm not sure.
I do have things to do.
Great. Why don't you go do those things?
Okay.
And I think for the moment, we're okay.
I would like to be as soon as possible. Go get up to that thing he's at.
Oh, you need to go to AOE too?
Stick
Okay,
around.
and let's try and finish earlier rather than later. So, okay, so that recap what we have on the agenda to get in shape. So, welcome back to Center of Economic Development and Housing and General Affairs. Paige and I spoke. I thought Paige's idea was a good one, which was to break up the task force in a couple ways, and then I conferred with some of our stakeholders here during the break. If the committee is willing, this is what I would suggest, that we ask the Department of Economic Development and the Department of Tourism and Marketing to pull together an inventory of the resources available to all stages of business development, both in and out of state government, and to look at how they're marketed, how those resources are marketed now, and how they might be marketed in the future. And once that is done, have that done by early October and have them report to this task force, which will be looking at slightly bigger things and different things now. But the ACC, the DED and Tourism and Marketing would present to the task force in early October what they have found, the inventory of resources, and that the task force would then address after that presentation what is missing, and I think the stakeholders would also be working obviously with them, what is missing from that list, and how we can better market. And then the big question, which I think the task force needs to address, is what's missing from the resources, what can we what needs to be provided, in addition, how we can better serve businesses around the state, and how we can continue to do the work of growing business development around the state more equitably, and the access to capital piece, which is still huge, and there is no consistent way of having business in any formal way access it, and have everyone have equal opportunity accessing it. So to that, does that sound like okay to the committee to task the department and tourism to do that initial work on the inventory and then come to the task force with that presentation? Does that sound okay?
It would have the
The
people, and who else would be working with it?
The Department of Economic Development, Lyle Jepson and his team do an inventory, and working with our stakeholders, with Linda Rossi and the Vermont State Small Business Development Corporation, with Wayway and the professionals of color, all the stakeholders of business could help inform the economic development, the Department of Economic Development. They would do an inventory of what are the current resources offered to all businesses at all stages of development. And then they would present that work and how it's currently marketed or not. And then they would present their work and their recommendations to the committee, to the task force in early October.
That's what it takes till October to figure out what we've got.
I think that by the time this bill passes and by the time people have their summer vacations, I mean, we could ask for mid-September, but stakeholders maybe felt that early October was more realistic. Should we say mid-September? I mean, I don't care, but
I have a strong preference.
Linda or Wayway,
so to me, I guess I would want to defer to what Lyle at the department and his team think is reasonable as far as a stakeholder. I will be poised to contribute whatever I have for data, for needs, for gaps at any time.
Okay, so given that, why don't we just put early October? We'll have Lyle in obviously to testify and see if he can do it sooner. That would be great. But let's put that in, and then the task force and we will work on the members. And I think, we heard some, terrific suggestions. I think that the treasurer is key on this. I would, I think we want, we already have Lyle and or, on this, but I think Kevin Chu needs to be on here. So, member of the Vermont, the
Futures.
Futures Project. And, I think we want to have, the treasurer and or designee on this. And I think that's at least good for starters. I mean, I think what we're trying to do is get this bill introduced and work on it and you can hone the membership promise. Is there anybody else you'd add for?
No, I just fully endorse Kevin Chu's perspective, and I think he has a broad Vermont statewide perspective, so we would
Yeah.
designate a potential chair. I don't know if that's common practice or not, but I'd love for him to direct a lot of that initiative as Senator Rondell.
Yeah. So, Keisha, I've just suggested pulling out the inventory, having that done by the economic development and
Okay.
tourism and marketing have their work then presented to this task force so they can then go forward to address the additional resources needed, the barrier to business development around the state and the access to capital. And now we're looking at who to include on the task force. This is just, remember, just to get this bill introduced. We've added Kevin Chu instead, I think instead of the Sustainable Jobs Fund, let's add Kevin Chu, the Vermont Futures Project. Let's,
What did you say instead of this?
I think with this, we want a small group. I think we don't necessarily need Sustainable Jobs Fund at the moment. They're a stakeholder and they would be, well, their testimony would be welcome at all. And I think we need to say at some point in consultation with all stakeholders, you know, with all business stakeholders, you know, in consultation with business stakeholders. But I have added we've added the treasurer and or designee and the Vermont Futures Project and or designee. I also love to consider having executive director of Hula or something similar. But I'm open to, and we can discuss this obviously if the bill gets introduced. Any other suggestions on that before we leave that?
Can I get
Yeah.
clarification?
Yeah.
So the current, there's 10 members here. You would replace number 6.
Yeah.
The Sustainable Jobs Fund with the
Vermont.
future project.
Yeah, and the treasurer.
So, right, you would add the treasurer.
Yeah.
Did you also want to add the chamber? Did I hear that
Well, the-
earlier?
Um,
Chamber of Commerce or designate?
no, I mean,
Kevin is,
I think Kevin is certainly a voice for the chamber, don't you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, and I can get back to you on it
Yeah.
as well.
And we'll discuss it. So, I mean, this is just to get the discussion going.
And then possibly the executive director of Hula. I'll
Yeah,
double check that, how that would work. Okay.
okay. So
Continue.
then the other question here on this is who is responsible for it? We did the date changes. We're checking with Scott Moore, so we'll have more. You have at the moment, ACCD being responsible for this, right?
And administratively, correct, and also through funding, yes. Open for discussion.
Yeah, I don't have I think that may be a challenge. I mean, happy to leave it as it is for the introduction, but I would really like us to see it once we have more information from Scott Moore about that. I do have a question, as we go forward. Does anyone want to, in this draft for introduction, include the veggie, adding the S88, the, added enhanced incentive of employee owned or member owned co-ops or veggie? Do you have any stomach for that? Just putting it right in here at the economic development issue
the repeals fully in here.
that repeals BLAM this section.
Okay.
Another tool, I think it's worth a continued
Yeah,
conversation. So
Okay, so could we add S88 to that would be great. Anything else? I think for introduction, this is definitely a shape to introduce with those changes. And then, And everybody's on deck to testify, because we understand that. Do we want to include the amounts that are actually in the governor's budget at the moment, Rick, for the, 388, 389? Oh, because you've included it, but we don't have the micro business one is slightly different. Let's correct that.
And clarify what the governor recommended.
Yes, and clarify that we're asking for another 100,000. Okay,
Can I ask one question?
yeah,
One more question?
because I just want to remind us, we began micro business at $1 million. It's sadly been cut every year.
My question, back to the task force. The powers and duties, I understand you want the Department of Economic Development and Tourism Marketing to.
With
the stakeholder.
in consultation with business stakeholders.
That you want them
To create an inventory.
basically on page 7, you have the current duties, aggregate resources available to each business in each stage of development, determine which additional resources are necessary. And then 3 is kind of a combination of those two, how to market those. So I understand that's kind of what you want to defer to those two entities.
Exactly, and
Okay.
have them do that in time
Right.
to present, so that then the task force can address how to improve them. I
Okay.
mean, and what might be added. So what might be added and how we can improve how we market to all businesses.
And then the access to capital piece, subdivision 4.
Right.
Is that something
That coming
separate
for the task.
for the task?
So
Okay.
for the task
Alright.
force would then, I think we'd have the 2 additional pieces, which is how to that they would address what's missing in resources, what additional resources are necessary, and how better market the resources we have available, and then access to capital.
Got it.
That sound right? Okay. Great. And then I think we'd be ready for that. And then what we're hoping to do at 11:40 tomorrow morning is to look at those bills, see if they're ready for introduction. And sign off on that, and vote on those just for introduction. Is that okay? You'll be here, you'll be up at AOE.
You know, tomorrow I will be late though. I did email you.
Yeah.
About Rotary, that's gonna.
Yes, I know, I saw that, but you will hopefully be here by 11:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great,
Tomorrow?
okay. Tomorrow,
So that'd be, okay, yeah.
yeah, because tomorrow we need to vote this out.
Okay, yeah, I'll be.
Okay,
Yeah.
as long as you're here by 11:30, that's good. We will miss you, of course, for the rest of the time.
Be around 9:15, so.
Okay, and so I just want to say, Ellen and Rosie, who we haven't yet met, Rosie, it's lovely to see you, and Nicole Killer, and I know you're here also. Just a big thank you to all of you. We will have you testify. Hi, it's great to see you all. Rosie seems to be the new micro business person at Capstone, which is great. It's wonderful to have you. We have Wei and Linda here representing the professionals of color and Vermont Small Business Development Center. Thank you all for being our partners on this, and we will have a full and robust conversation about this as we go forward. This is just simply to get this bill introduced. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. I think if we're okay with this draft, Rick, do you think we could see this and circulate it maybe later today?
What's your definition of today? Tonight, for sure.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
could circulate
yeah.
it tonight for people to just have a chance to
Sure.
look at.
I wouldn't have been able to look at it anytime today anyway, so I just didn't want to rush it. Fine.
So the housing bill will also be circulated today. So I would ask the committee to please just review those, because we're going to be voting on them tomorrow, to just get them introduced. Okay, and then we will continue to work on this. Thank you. This was
Thank you.
productive and done in much less time than I expected. Thomas, you were taking off.
So, all right.
I'm sorry if I missed this, but. Okay, so we might get a spreadsheet We're supposed
We're
to
gonna
be
get one
done by
next
week. Okay, got
I'm getting a spreadsheet next week.
If you're still meeting, I'm just gonna stick around, whatever you want.
This was, the job was to get this bill ready for introduction. I think we're okay. Unless there's more you want to add at the moment.
I saw Jeremy Little on the agenda. Do you have anything to say?
Go right down the list.
Yeah, Jeremy Little, Vermont Chamber of Commerce. I think that was just as a result of my answer to Senator Clarkson's question earlier.
Okay. Okay.
And our treasurer, we have a new person from the treasurer's office who's here, and just introduce yourself if you would.
Yeah, I'm Lauren Stalls. I'm a legislative assistant for the treasurer's office.
Great. We really appreciate you being here for this. And Wei Wei and Linda, introduce yourselves.
Wei Wei Wong, she, her pronouns, co-executive director of the Vermont Professional Stakeholder Network.
Linda Rossi, State Director, Vermont Small Business Development Center. I just want to thank the committee for clearly demonstrating your continued interest in understanding the needs of small businesses in Vermont and wanting to support them in the best way possible. Thank you.
And Aiden, our wonderful intern to Senator Brown. So I think, had we known we were going to do this in such speedy fashion, I think we would have obviously put many more things in, but given we're losing 2 members of our committee, I think, and you're going up there too.
Where? What's happening?
Okay.
Education.
We're going to go off live. We're going to see everybody tomorrow morning at 9.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Perfect time.